and welcome to What is the Strat? I am your host, Evie/CuteNoob, and today I have a very special guest with me, Jasmine, aka Chibi Miharu.
Hello everyone, my name is Jasmine. You guys can also call me Chibi or Miharu, but I also go by Chibi Miharu as well. I work at Elgato, so I'm a Elgato employee by day, VTuber by night. I'm the senior community specialist over at Elgato, and basically what I do over at Elgato is I manage a lot of the social engagement portion of Elgato. So usually Twitter, Instagram stories, Facebook. I'm usually the one responding back to everyone, to our community. And then I also manage our Discord server as well as planning and organizing our Twitch stream.
That is a lot. That is talk about being busy. So how did you get started? I know you broke down a bunch of things that you're doing for Elgato, but at the beginning, what brought you to this path? Did you always know you wanted to be in the gaming space?
No, I did not. Growing up, I was kind of like a free spirit. I had no idea what I want to do with my life. So it was like I took a long time to finish my degree because I just didn't know what I wanted. Like I didn't know what path I wanted to take. My parents was like, "Oh, Jasmine, you should become a doctor. You should become a lawyer. You should become like a software engineer," because they wanted me to make like a lot of good money, right? And that was like at the time like really good money to make if you were to become like a doctor, software engineer, or like lawyer, stuff like that. But for me, I can't stand needles. My hands are shaky. So like being a doctor or a nurse is out of the question for me. I was like, I don't like blood. I don't like needles. I was like, oh man, no, I don't want to go this route. And then for a lawyer, I feel like I can be a little airhead sometimes. I was like, that's not for me either. That's not for me either. And so I think what I ended up just doing was just doing like my, general education classes, which is just like the classes that you need, that you have to get to, pass your college, or like I think I went to a community college first, a 2-year first, and then I was just working on like all the requirements I need to take before doing my major, because college is expensive, guys, and it is super expensive. And for me, I didn't want to take any student loans, so I was like, okay, here's what's gonna happen. I am just gonna work full time. I'm gonna take like maybe 1-2 classes on the side, and I'm gonna try to figure out, what I want to do with my life. And I had a lot of hobbies growing up. I really enjoyed watching anime. I think my childhood was like consisted of so much anime, gaming. It was like GameCube, Game Boy. I don't know what's called. It's like the little joystick, and it had like the little game where you're like a little airplane, and it goes pew pew pew, like the little invaders, stuff like that.
Was it Atari?
I don't remember the name of it, honestly. It might be. It could be. Yeah. But that was like one like little older console generation, right? And then I think Game Boy is when I first played like Pokemon Red, got really into it. So like my life growing up consisted a lot of like, kind of like gaming and anime. And I think throughout like my college years, I did a lot of cosplaying. So I went from cosplaying for about like 3 years, going to a lot of anime conventions. And then I think after that, I got into computer science. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give computer science a try for my major. And I took the classes for about like, I think a year or 2 years. I was like, this is not for me, guys. This is not for me. Because like it was fun, like don't get me wrong, it was fun, but I just couldn't see myself like doing computer science as like a lifetime. Like I could see it as a hobby, but as a job, I feel like it would just be too much for me. I would just be so miserable in my opinion.
You're so good at like being able to understand yourself. Like the amount of awareness that you have is insane. I feel like most people nowadays don't have that awareness, but yes, continue.
So after that, I think I got into like Twitch streaming back in like 2017. So 2017, like I believe in November, I got into this game called StarCraft 2. So I was introduced to this, and it was the first game I started streaming, and my main game I started streaming, and it was amazing. Like I enjoyed StarCraft 2. I really enjoyed streaming. I think when I started streaming first time, I was very awkward because first time streaming experience is like, there's people watching me.
Why are they looking at me?
And they'll like comment in chat, and I'll just be like, they're like, oh hi. I'm like, hi. Go back to gaming.
They were like, that's it. We need more.
Yeah. I was very awkward as like a first time streamer. I feel like I didn't really know what I'm doing. I was just gaming and just yeah. So I think I really enjoyed streaming. And as I was falling out of computer science, I was like, you know what? Streaming is kind of like a business in a way, right? So maybe I'll enjoy like business management because that is basically what I'm already doing as streaming. And so that's what I started to pursue. And I was like, okay, I'm changing my majors. So I changed my major to business administration, concentration in management. And I enjoyed my classes so much more. And I was like, okay, I think this is the route for me here. Yeah, after that, that was the route there for me. And I ended up finishing my degree. And I had to take like a lot of breaks here though. So it was like the work-life balance here for school, streaming, and working full time. Because back then, because I didn't take any student loans, I was working full time. And then I was also streaming part time. And then I was going to school full time. So I had to like, it was really hard because like I had to cut out my social life basically, and I had to cut off streaming as well. So I was like trying to like take as many classes as I can and go into work full time. That way I can, one, afford my classes, and two, finish school as fast as I can. That way I can go back to like my social life, my social living. Because basically my schedule is 9 to 5, and then after that my classes are at night. And then, process repeats, group projects in the weekends, homework due, quizzes, finals, all on the weekend. For time I could stream here and there, but my stream was not very consistent. So it was like, I took like a lot of breaks and stuff like that. And it was definitely something. It was cry a life, a very busy life, that's for sure. But I ended up finishing. And so then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm free. I am finally free. I don't have school anymore. I got my degree. And now I can go back to streaming. Like everything that took up my school slot, like my time for school, just switch that and replace it with streaming.
Okay, so I need to ask here, like, how did you manage to keep it up? Because it's a lot. Like 9 to 5 plus weekends, then like even you said night classes as well. How did you manage to do it? And were there sometimes when you were like, oh my gosh, like I can't do this, like almost like having an emotional crisis? Or were you like, no, I've got this? Was it more like your mind was just set on like hardcore mode, we gotta get through it?
I think it was kind of set on hardcore mode. Of course, there's like some times where I was like, okay, I can't handle this many classes, so I'll drop out one of the classes. And I'm like, okay, if this is too much for me, because I'm trying to pass, I'm gonna drop out one of these classes because I can't do all these main core classes here at this time. I was like, it is impossible to do. So I think it's just like more like, one, what really helped me a lot in college is definitely talking to a counselor and like having her help me like plan out my roadmap to like success and like to finishing my degree, as well as like, because like I went from 2 years. So it's like the 2-year college I went to, the counselor was amazing and she helped me get on the right track to then apply for a 4-year college, and that way I can only have to worry about like 2 more years there. And it's just communicating with your counselor helped me a lot, and that's what kind of set me in stone and like what's doable for me, as well as I think it's like rate your professors. I think that was like a website I used. Yes, guys. Like I would always recommend, like, if you're taking any college classes, go to that website. I don't know if that website is even live still or not, but basically see what kind of teachers you have. If they have lots of great reviews, really nice, down to earth, go for those classes if possible. Because that's what I looked for. I was like, okay, I want to get a class with a very chill teacher that's very understanding and knows how to teach and not strict for no reason, or like unreasonable. Because there can be some people who can be a little bit unreasonable, unfortunately. And like I know they're just doing their job, but like I have had some experiences where some teachers were very unreasonable, not very understanding, and it's just like, this is like you're setting up your students for failure and not success at this point. I think also like managing your time and like making sure that you set time aside for one rest, another one school, and just sticking to that schedule, because that's what helped me a lot, is just sticking to a schedule that you have. Because once you have a class, you already have a set schedule, right? Unless it's like a class that's like you don't need to attend it, and it's just like a Zoom class? A Zoom class, or like even just like it's a pretty much like you study at your own time, right? So there's like no class session at all. It's just you do everything yourself, and you just like watch the lectures by yourself, stuff like those type of classes. Then maybe you can just set your own schedule for that. But usually, if you have to, if you have like a Zoom class or like in-person class, and your schedule, and that you just have to work around that basically.
You have determination. So determination. I love that you said it also communication, because communication would save the world if we all just communicated and really said what we meant. So that's really cool. So how did you end up at Elgato? So you went to school, got your management degree, right? Congratulations. And then when did Elgato come into the picture? How did that happen?
So funny enough, actually, so I didn't get my degree first. My degree happened when I was still going to college when I got a job at Elgato.
Okay.
So, but that's kind of like a little bit, it was not a TLDR, but it's a little bit TLDR where I did end up finishing my degree. But so this ties back to streaming. And to my hobbies. Because when I started doing StarCraft 2, the StarCraft 2 community is a very like close-knit community because the game was really big. It was like very hype. Like almost anyone in the gaming industry will know what StarCraft 2 is because of like it's such a big game, especially in Korea, and it's very fun to watch. It is amazing. And they had like a dinner planned, and I was invited to this amazing dinner for a lot of amazing StarCraft 2 creators. And funny enough, at this dinner, I met Eugenia and Tracy. And at the time, they both worked at Corsair. And so that's how I met the two. And they were so nice, super awesome to talk to. And then kind of like fast forward, I saw that Eugenia had posted on her Twitter that they're looking for an intern at Corsair. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna apply and try to become an intern at Corsair. And so, I did my little application and, I commented on a tweet. I was like, oh, I just applied, good luck to everyone, something like that. So I wrote, just so I can get like a little bit noticed, right? It's like, I did, of course, I'm not saying, oh, give me the job. It's just more like, hey, I applied, please notice me. Yeah. This is just me, just like, hey, please notice me.
I love that. So, you have to do that.
Yeah. And so then I did get noticed, and I ended up getting called, and we went through like a lot of processes. I think it was like 3 different interviews, like the phone screening, then I interviewed the team, and then I ended up getting the internship at Corsair in 2019, I believe it was. I think it was 2019. I could be. Was it 2019? I always get the dates confused. I'm pretty sure it's 2019. So 2019 is when I got an internship, and it was an in-person internship. So it's really fun. I had such a great experience there. I was a social media intern for Corsair at the time. And I did a lot of like socializing around the office, obviously do my work. I was really on top of my work, organizing. I was mainly in charge of the Discord server. So I worked together with, a developer that I had found because he made like an amazing like Discord bot. So I was able to pitch this idea to like the big manager, and we were able to get approved. So I worked together with him to get like exclusive bot for Corsair made for the Discord server and to make it more active. So it went really well. And yeah, after that, like I had met like so many people in Corsair. It was really nice because I got to meet the Elgato team. I got to, hang out with all the interns, meet people from different teams. And it was a really positive and amazing experience that I had had. And so then after that, after the internship ended, one of the full-time positions did open up, but unfortunately, I couldn't apply to it because like I would have to be in person for it. And I was still finishing school at the time. And right now my priority was just to finish school and get my degree. So I didn't want to apply because I don't want to waste anyone's time. Because even if I were to get it, I'm still going to be choosing school just because I want to finish the school. Otherwise, my parents would yell at me.
Oh, no. Of course, we're always trying to make our parents happy.
Yeah, I got to make my parents proud, Yeah. But then, during this time, this is when like, COVID hit. And I think just like, a year later, or maybe like half a year or a year later or so, COVID hit. And so was it one of the coworkers at the time messaged me because there was a position for Elgato that had opened up. And I was like, oh, I can go apply to this because, I was like, this will work out because all my classes are now online. And then, the work is also going to be online because, the pandemic is happening. No one can see each other, right? So we all have to stay home. I was like, I can actually make this work out. Like this, if I can get the job, this is a possibility for me. So I applied and I ended up getting the job. And so then I worked full time and went to school full time. And, so this is the point where I cut off my social life. It was work full time and then school full time. And then I cut off my streaming and cut off my social life. So, because I had to sacrifice it too, because that way I had the money to pay for my college classes, because it was like, I think almost 45K a semester. So it was a lot of money. So but yeah, and then shout out to the team, Vanessa, my manager at the time. Like I'm so happy that she believed in me, and like she was super supportive. And like there's sometimes I had to take classes during like my lunchtime, so I had like class like 12 p.m. So she's like, yeah, no, go for it. Like no issues on our end. I was like, oh yes, let's go. So just had a very understanding and very supportive team here. So it was really, really nice. And then I've been working since this is gonna be my 5th year at Elgato now. And yeah, so I was still working on my degree, didn't have a degree yet, but I got hired and I finished my degree during my job at Elgato.
Oh, I love that. Your story is such a success story, but it's also because of how consistent and persistent you were. And honest with yourself as well. Like you knew that some things just were not meant to be at that time, and you were okay with that, but you were always like still going through with your plan. So I love that for you. Congratulations. That sounds amazing.
Aw, thank you.
You're so sweet. I'm like, yes. Every time I hear good things happen to good people, I'm like clapping in the background. Like, yes. I believe in you.
Yes.
Yeah. I believe in you, all of you guys, whoever watches this, and you're like, I'm trying to get it. I hope it happens for you. I always do. But walk us through your everyday like routine for Elgato, right? Like you talked about some things like you do the Discord, you do the planning. Let's say, okay, today you show up to work. What are some tasks that you have to do in order to make sure you're on top of things?
So I can't go into too much details, but what I can basically say is that, in the mornings, I'll check my mail to see if there's any replies I need to get back into or, respond to. And then we'll do like our social interactions, which would be like, the engagement portion of like Twitter, Instagram stories. And then I'll do like a planning for like the next Twitch streams. Because usually I plan it like a month in advance. So a month in advance, and then that's when the streams are usually planned. Same for like community activations, which is like our Discord events that can be like Discord Q&As, contests, giveaways, stuff like that. And then there's also like the fun little calendar planning that we have as well. So like, all that good stuff. It's like, it very varies as well. So, but usually it's like the main thing that's usually very consistent is like the email checking and the engagement portion for community.
Okay. And which one would you say is your favorite?
I'll definitely say I really do like working and planning the Twitch streams and the Discord events. I think those two are probably like my favorites. They're like my bread and butter.
Well, I had a blast. I was able to be a part of one of them, and I was like, this is so fun. Yeah, I loved it. Such great. You were on top of it too. You were like, this is the time. Okay, you guys are good. Okay, you guys are doing this. So it was great. 10/10 would recommend.
Aw, thank you.
Now that you got through, you finished school, you have the job, what does your life right now look like on a everyday basis?
Oh, it's very eventful, let me tell you. It is very eventful, very fun. So now, as you guys know, I have a 9-to-5 job that is Monday to Friday. And then usually, because I do have to commute and I do live kind of far from the office, but my manager and like the team, very amazing once again, and very understanding. Because like I do go into the office like later in the day, because if I were to drive from my house, I would have to wake up at like 6 a.m. in the morning and, get ready. And then there'll be a 2-hour drive with traffic. So yeah, I was like, okay, I don't think this is possible for me, but it would be possible to like compromise here where, because I have no issues going to office. I love the office life. I love the office life. I just don't like the commute. And I feel like driving 2 hours there, and then also you have to consider that driving back is also another 2 hours because traffic is really bad both ways. So I was like, can I work from home for the first 2 hours? That way, once traffic dies down, I can just drive straight to work during my lunch, and boom, I'm at work. I'm still in the office. It's just not in the mornings. And also because like for me, it's like we're all social media. We're like the social media team. So we don't really have any work to do in the office per se. Like it's not needed because I can just work from home, right? But obviously they want us in the office. So I was like, yeah, I can definitely be in the office. No issues here. I like socializing. I like, seeing the team. I like seeing, people around saying hi from other teams and stuff like that. So, and they agreed. They were actually really happy that I was able to like, think of a compromise instead of saying, I just want to work from home, So basically Mondays to Thursdays is our commute days. And usually I'll get home like around, on a good day, I'll get home at 8 p.m. And then if I have like plans at night, maybe I'll get home like around 9 to 10 p.m. usually. And so then after it, once I get home, I'll usually stream on Irium, which is like a streaming platform or mobile streaming platform for VTubers. And usually I'll stream on there for like 30 minutes to an hour because I'm a founding streamer. So I do need to stream at least 20 hours a month on there. So Mondays, Thursdays are usually the time when I stream there. And then after that, I'll edit like a TikTok video or like a YouTube short because I'm posting more consistently. And this year is like my content goal and like goals basically, right? So I'm posting a lot more consistently where Mondays through Fridays, I'll post one TikTok and one YouTube short. And then every Mondays and Fridays will be a YouTube video, like a long form video. But that's edited by my boyfriend, Jack. So he's the one that edits my, shout out to Jack. He's the one that edits my long form videos. He used to edit my short form videos as well, but because I want to get more into long form video this time, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do the short form, you can do the long form. And he taught me his editing style for the short form. So huge shout out to him. Like the editing style that he sent me on the presets, amazing. It's like chef kiss. But yeah, so then that is basically my Mondays to Thursdays. And then Fridays, 9 to 5. And then after that, I'll probably like take a nap, you know, then I'll have like dinner and then I'll edit a quick little TikTok video. And then I'll stream from 9 p.m. to like 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, it sounds about gamer hours.
Yeah, the TGen stream, because the weekends are the only time I have to myself to actually stream and make content to like then post on TikTok and stuff. So usually I try to stream longer hours just to get that content. And then Saturday, I probably won't wake up until like 2 p.m. 2 p.m. later, depending on how long I streamed. And then after that, you know, I'll probably, I'll either bed rot because I need rest. So Saturday is usually like my bed rot day. But if I'm not feeling like bed rot, then usually depending on the day or the week, I might go out to go Costco, to go grocery shopping, and then edit some TikToks, YouTube shorts for the week if I can, because I like to do it in advance if I have the time to and the mental capacity to. And then after that, it'll be another stream from 9 p.m. to like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning. And then Sunday, process kind of repeats where I wake up around 2 p.m. or later. And then I will, you know, basically either bed rot, do something, maybe make, if I have plans, friends, something, I'll probably go out. So it's kind of like my free time later in the day. And then I'll stream again from 9 p.m. But I do a hard cutoff at 2 a.m. in the morning because then Monday is my work day. So that is basically my full week.
Oh my goodness, that is quite a lot. And the fact that you're able to maintain that too. How do you avoid burnout? Because burnout happens to everybody, right? Have you already experienced it, or are you like a little bit cautious of it? Can you already, because it sounds like you're very attuned to your body. So I feel like you would be a type of person who would be like, oh, I'm kind of feeling too exhausted. Maybe I shouldn't do this.
No, usually if I feel like I'm really tired, I would never like force myself to do it. So it's like, I'll let my community really understand. So if there's like a day where I'm like, hey guys, you know, I am super tired, I can't stream today, I'm gonna take a rest day. Then that's how I usually communicate that to them. And I have like a Discord server as well. So I'll usually do like at stream notifications. Hey guys, no streams today. I need to rest, but you know, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
It
sounds
and
about
like,
right.
Yeah, I feel like, I think burnout, I feel like definitely burnt out at school. School was a thing. Oh my gosh, I was burnt out so much from school. But I think like for content creation and for my job, it's just like I really enjoy it, which is why I feel like because I enjoy it so much, it's like I don't really feel like stressed about it. I think the only time I did really feel really stressed about streaming in general was when I tried doing a partner pitch. That was stressful. Oh my gosh. I was like, I can't do this. Because like usually for me, streaming itself, I love streaming. I love content creation. Like I genuinely really enjoy it. I feel like it makes me really happy to see people enjoy my content and just to, you know, have a place where they can kind of hang out and relax, right? And when I was like, oh, I kind of want to do a partner pitch because like my goal is always to get partnered on Twitch. And I was like, okay, maybe it's time to do a partner pitch because we're getting a little bit close. But when I did it, I felt like it was not me. I felt like I was just stressing over numbers and not hitting numbers. And then I was getting like anxiety because I was like, even if I hit these numbers, what if I get rejected from a partner, right? Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, that would hit me so hard. I would be like, oh no. And like, even though I was getting close, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start my partner push here. If it happens, it happens. I'm gonna focus on something else because like I don't like the way I'm starting to think about streaming, and I'm not having as much fun as I used to streaming because of this partner push. And so I canceled my partner push, and now I'm back to being happy, and I'm super excited to stream and make content. I think this year it was like the biggest change in the year, because this year is when I'm actually focusing more on consistently posting on TikTok and YouTube and other platforms as well. So it's been working really well, actually. Big dubs this year. Big dubs.
Oh, I love that. So tell me, did you originally know that you were going to be a VTuber, or like kind of what brought you to wanting to be or getting to be a VTuber?
So that kind of ties back to, I believe, 2022 was when I debuted as a VTuber. So this is when because, you know, I had to take that huge break. I had to cut out streaming from my life, my social life, because I was still going to school and I was working full time at Elgato. And I was like, okay, once I'm done with school, once I graduate, I started seeing like a lot of VTubers pop up in my feed on Twitter. And I was like, oh, wait, this is amazing. Because, you know, growing up, I loved anime, right? So this is kind of like, you know, I'm a little anime character now, right? And I was like, wow, this is amazing. But, you know, VTubing, for me at the very least, because I want my own customizable model, right? So I want one that's for me and for me only, that can be very expensive. So, and also, I'm also very picky with like the art style as well. And a lot of the artists that I looked into, the prices were, you know, just like money-wise, like in general, money-wise, it is expensive. But in VTuber comedian terms, is not as expensive. It's like kind of like the normal pricing, right? Because of the amount of hard work and effort and time that's put into creating one of these models is completely understandable and reasonable as to why they're priced the way they are. Looking at the prices, I was like, okay, if I want to become a VTuber and come back into streaming, then I will need to really commit to using this model, right? Because I wasn't even sure if I was gonna enjoy VTubing or not. Because, you know, I was a facecam streamer at first. When I first started streaming, I had facecam on. And I was like, okay. So it took me like about 6 months, you know, 6 months to kind of like look into VTubing and like finding the artists that I want to commission, the rigger that I want to commission, and just like trying to figure out the software and stuff like that, right? And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. So I started, you know, I reached out. Shout out to Sion. They're freaking amazing because they're the one that introduced me to my first VTuber model artist and rigger. So I was like, oh, you know, she's amazing. And shout out to Mama Mabs because she's the one who created my very first model ever. This is not the one that you see though. This is like my second. This is my 2.0 here. That's made by my best friend. And so then I was like, okay, I debuted in 2022 and it was amazing. I think VTubing is really so much fun. You can really express yourself, your personality. Like I have a lot of toggles. I can like do like low waves. And you know, this is usually Stream Deck. So I have like little toggles here. So yeah.
That is so cool.
I have like a little clapping. So it's like, you know, it's really cool like what you can do. And I was just like, you know, I have like a little excited, like, wow, you know, a little like, you know, plead.
Oh, I love that.
And I have like a, like, oh my God, I have a pout. I can be like scared.
Oh my goodness. That is
I have
so
like a
cool.
know you.
That is cool. Oh my God. I had no idea that you're able to do this much with VTubing.
There's a lot. There's like a lot you can do with VTubing. Like there's just so much. And you know, the tracking can be really crazy too. There's like live 2D models, PNG tubers, 3D models. Like it is actually pretty insane. Yeah, and I started VTubing and I love the community. I feel like, you know, I've been really enjoying becoming a VTuber because like it's so less stressful. Because like for me, when I have a face cam on, right? Like when I talk, I normally smile because that's just how I am. Like when I'm talking, I have like a smile on my face.
Yeah.
So that's just how I talk. I talk with a smile. But if I'm focused or I'm not talking because there's like nothing to talk about something, then I have like a big RBF face. So I'm so cautious about that, or conscious? Yeah, conscious about that. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, because like I don't want people to think I hate my life or something like that, or like, you know, I'm angry at them. It's just my resting face. But it's such an RBF face. So I was like, sometimes I'll try to like kind of smile even if I'm not talking, but then my lips will kind of twitch because I'm forcing it. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, because I don't want to look menacing. And so, you know, but with VTubing, if I'm like not, if I have like a neutral face, then it's still kind of smiling. Like I don't look menacing, like watch.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah. So it's just like, that's why it's like I can relax my face without having to worry about people coming in and just like look at me just with my neutral face on and RBF thinking I hate them. You know, I don't worry about having makeup on because like for me, I like to look presentable. If I have face cam on, I like to put makeup on for myself because I want to look nice. But you know, it could be tiring, right? Like, you know, shout out to all the girlies who do makeups every day because yo, you guys are freaking killing it. You guys are amazing. Like the amount of work, like even you're like, oh, it only takes me 10 minutes. That's still 10 minutes.
It's true. It's some
And then you have
effort.
to feel the makeup on your face too. Oh my gosh. I love makeup. I have like a love-hate relationship with makeup, right? Because like makeup is nice, but at the same time, I'm just like, I don't wanna, sometimes I'm just tired. I don't wanna put makeup on, you know? And also people are like, then don't put makeup on. But see, the thing is, I wanna put makeup on. But I'm
There's
too
no winning
tired
here.
too.
No
There's
winning.
no winning here. So I was like, yeah, and then VTubing came along and like, look at me. I don't know how to put on makeup. You guys can't see. I am in my PJs right now and you guys literally can't see. You guys can't see me in my PJs. I have my hair tied up. You know, I look like a mess right now. And you
I'm
won't be
so
able
jealous.
to know.
So jealous. What are the downside do you feel, if there is any? Because maybe there's not. I don't know. I'm like a noob at VTubing. So for VTubing, like what are the cons of, you know, having a model and you know, not being your, let's say, natural self, if you can even say that, when content creating? Has there been a downside to it?
Nope. There has been no downside to it. At least in my opinion, I don't think there's any downside to becoming a VTuber because like you can see like I can show my expressions, right? Like there's also like other models as well. Like if you are using an iPhone or iOS device, then the tracking can be really insane. Right now I'm using webcam because I don't own any iOS devices, but I think like the closest tracking I do is, let me show you. This is gonna be a model that's a customized model. So if anyone wants to become a VTuber, this is like a great way to get into VTubing. This is by, let me see. This is by Suika. So, customized models by Suika here. And like, for example, the tracking, I can make myself look angry. So this is me actually like furrowing my eyebrows in real life.
Wow.
I can do this with my mouth too, just like.
Whoa. That is so cool.
Yeah, this also has like, you know, toggles as well. So this is like a customized model and it's really nice. Like I do shout out Suika. Like she's definitely made a big game change in like the VTuber community with making such like accessible VTuber model for everyone to purchase and use and customize to their own liking. So this is like the default version that comes default.
Cute.
This is like my first customization and then my second customization.
Oh, I love that. That reminds me of Ari from League of Legends.
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh! Now that you mentioned that, yeah. So this is like, you know, there's a lot like programs and software coming out to like make it a lot easier to do things that you would be able to do in real life as well, basically, right? Obviously, there are some things like, you know, some things you can only do with like face cam versus VTubers, but for me personally, I feel like I'm really happy with VTubing. I don't really see any downside. Like I just prefer not stream face cam on anymore now that I'm a VTuber.
I love that. Yeah. There was a hot minute when I was like, okay, if I don't feel like getting ready, I'm just gonna have a VTubing model so that I don't have to turn on my camera and I could just be chilling here with you guys and not feel like I have to get ready. So I totally could relate to you in that way. You talked a little bit about like the basic price. If someone's like, hey, I want to get into VTubing, what is the norm price to pay?
Honestly, it can be really cheap now. Like I think back when I was looking, there's not as many options as there were now. Like now there's like lots of customizable options, lots of free models you can use because VTubing is definitely like becoming a lot more popular and like it's getting there to be like, you know, a lot more out there for sure. It really depends, right? So if you want to start VTubing, I definitely recommend going for a free model either by Mochan. This is by Sakurai Mon, I believe. And she has this super free VTuber model that you can use. So you can download this and like something to take a note of is that, you know, VTubing can be very heavy on your PC. Especially if you use like live 2D and such. So it's like you gotta be it's always good to test to see what your PC is capable of and like see if your CPU can handle it, right? Which is why I would always recommend checking out a free model like this Mochan model, Mo version, right? And downloading the free edition and trying it out, customizing it, and seeing if this is something that you like to do. Because, you know, there's a lot of cases I've seen where people get into VTubing, but they just end up not enjoying it as much. It's compared to like facecam streaming. So I was like, you know, before you invest into an
Right.
actual VTuber model, start off small, start off free. There's a lot of free ways to get into VTubing that you don't have to spend a dime for anymore. Or like if anything, you only have to spend like less than $50, if anything, right? Because so this is Suika's and she has hers on Ko-fi and I believe VGen and stuff like that. So for hers, I believe it was $125 USD, which is cheap. That is cheap for a VTuber model. Like for the amount of for the quality of the art and the rigging is insane. It is literally insane. That is like, okay, I know people in chat are probably gonna be like, when they watch this, $125 is expensive. No.
Yeah.
In general, I agree, $125 is expensive. Like, that's a lot of money. Like, don't get me wrong, that is indeed a lot of money. But for a VTuber model of this quality, that's a steal. That is literally a steal. If you want like a custom model that only you can use, that can cost up anywhere from $500 plus. On average, it's usually around $2,500. So, but that's like I said, this is like on average for what I've looked around for. So, it could be a lower average, who knows, like depending on your art style, what art style you like the most, and the rigging you like, it can vary, right? You just have to do your research and see. And like the best way to do your research as well to find out like which artist you want to go with, or which rigger you want to go with, because there's two types, right? You need a live 2D artist and a rigger. So someone to make the art and separate the files, and then someone to make your model come to life. So that's either two people they're commissioning separately, or one person who does both. So like if you were to commission a custom model for yourself, it can take anywhere from 6 months to a year, depending on how busy they are. Yeah, because it takes very long to create like a model. It's not just like, boom, I get to finish it in one day. No. Like, I think the earliest someone can finish it is maybe like a week if they're working on it, really fast for you and you're the only one. But otherwise it's like still a very long, time-consuming thing to do.
Try it out. Maybe if you want to be a VTuber, there's options. Just browse around is what I'm getting here.
Yeah, and also it's like PNG tubers as well. So like PNG tubers is basically you just need two still images, like two PNG images, and then you just pop them in like reactive, there was Discord reactive, I think was what they call it, by Fugitech, or like this also Beardo Tube, and it's like another software that you can use basically, and it's just like a nice little talking, I don't have it set up at the moment, but basically it's like another way to like become a VTuber as well.
I'm learning so much from this. I was like, what's a PNG? What's what's a rigging compared to just the artist? Like, there's so much information, and obviously you're giving us so great, but I want to keep us on track here. Being in the industry, let's go back to you working for Elgato and being a female in the industry. Was that hard for you to connect with and get into the position that you got into with social media management with Elgato? Or were you just like, no, like the gaming space is so open now that it's so easily accessible to get to these new roles?
So I feel like for me, because I've only applied to Coursera, so I can only speak of Coursera, and slash Elgato, right? Because Coursera is the parent company. And so for me, I had very positive experiences. Like, I don't think like I felt anything, there was nothing like bad, or I was like, oh man, I feel like this is weird, something like that. Like, it was all very positive experiences for me, thankfully. So, and it shows as well because like the team's been really nice, really kind, very supportive. So I just, it's been really good. It's been really good. But I can't speak for the whole like gaming industry because I haven't tried other places.
And sometimes there is that like, I'm just good. I'm good. So in the role of VTuber, has there been anything where like, maybe some people are a little bit weird about the models, or like in the VTuber industry, is there anything that you're like, oh, people are, watch out for these type of people when it comes to the community?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I feel like it's also just like not just for VTubers, I think just for creators in general as well. People can be really weird because like if you're a woman, they're like, oh, they'll make like really weird comments, like I'm trying to think of this one. It was just really like you get weird vibes from people, right? Where they just like make these like really weird comments, like, oh, I want to touch your ear, or like, oh, I want to like, it's cringe. It's really weird and creepy, It's like, I don't know how it, like, you have to imagine, right? Like, hey, why would you go up to someone's stream and be like, I want to touch your ear? Like, what is that? Like, what are you?
You wouldn't do it in person, but why are you doing it online?
Yeah, it's just I banned that person, and I was like, okay, you're weird. No, you're gone. Like, I'm not even gonna deal with you here. I don't want you in my community. Yeah, there have been some experiences. I just think, I've kind of like erased it from my memories. I was like, they're banned. I'm not gonna keep on thinking about it. They're gone now.
So do you think the VTuber industry is going to be a lot bigger as, gaming becomes more mainstream? Do you think that's kind of like where most content creators are going to segue to? Or do you think like it's still close-knit?
I think it's definitely gonna get a lot bigger because of how like accessible it is, and like the reasoning as to like facecam streaming can be very draining for everyone, right? And it's just really nice to kind of have like a avatar or VTuber that you can use in case of days that you're tired, or you just want to be a hybrid VTuber, or you just want to end up converting straight into a VTuber and like only showing your face cam or your face once in a while. So I feel like it's definitely gonna continue to grow, especially because like Iron Mouse, she is like one of the biggest VTubers, and I love her so much. She's awesome, but she's definitely like an inspiration for sure.
Yeah, I mean, even me just being like, I wonder what this would look like. I mean, even just the idea of it being planted into people's heads, you're like, oh, that's really cool. Do you cater more towards the like esports side of things, or would you say just more the generic community side of things?
I think for me, more the generic community side of things for sure. I think esports here and there for sure as well, but I think more generic.
Do you feel like with esports being kind of on the rise, do you think that it has affected your job in any specific way?
I don't think anything like negatively. I feel like it's just been like, it's just been the usual, I feel like.
You mentioned a couple of people that you were, number one, empowered by, and number two, brought into the industry by, that you were like, hey, I've had this really great connection with them and they brought us in here. Is there any more people that you're like, these core people, besides obviously your boyfriend as well, they have made such a huge impact, and they deserve to be highlighted because they've helped me get to where I am today?
Yes, I'd love to give a huge shout out to Brito. She goes by Brito Art online. So she is my manager and also my best friend over at Elgato. Like, she is so empowering, super amazing. Like, I can always rely on her for anything. If I had any questions, like she is like the one. She does so many great things in the industry, and she just has so many creative ideas, and I just look up to her so much. Like, she is the best, honestly. So, shout out to Brito for being super amazing, incredible, phenomenal. Like, oh my gosh, I love her so much. And then obviously, like, also shout out to Vanessa, my former boss as well. She no longer works with us, but she really like helped me throughout so much. Like, when she was here, she was an amazing manager. I look up to her so much. I was happy to hear about her. I was happy to see her. Like, she's such an inspiration as well. And yeah, it's just like, there's so many people, but I was like, oh man, I feel like from the top of my head, I do think of those two a lot. And then obviously, the two that I already mentioned was like Tracy and Eugenia. So, and then also like, there's like, if I can go on, there's like there's so many people that's been incredible and like big parts of my life. There's like Frank as well. He used to work at Coursera. He's been just phenomenal, super amazing. We still keep in contact as well. And now he's doing big, great stuff right now. And it's just a lot. Yeah, a lot of people that I do feel like have definitely positively impacted my career. And I feel like the list just goes on. Like, shout out to everyone. You guys know who you are. If I were to keep going, this is gonna be like a 2-hour long stream.
Oh, I love that. And we do require those core people to impact our lives, to be able to continue to not only dream, but also succeed and continue doing the good work that we're doing. So I'm so glad that you have that. And it sounds like you have a village. So yay, we love that for you. Words of encouragement for people at home listening. They're like, I want to become a VTuber, or I want to work in social media management. What would you say maybe a way to start would be?
I'll say like making your resume look really good helps a lot, right? And like, don't feel afraid to put streaming on your resume if it's like ties into social media or like gaming industries, right? If the role is social media management or like community specialist, community management, all that stuff, like you can definitely tie in your hobbies. It's just a way that you gotta word it and see what the list goes on. Because like when I first applied to become an intern for Coursera as a social media intern, I didn't really have like any prior experience, right? My experience was literally just streaming at Twitch and building my own community on Discord, and like also like helping out like at a booth for like Food Fantasy, which is like this gacha game. So like that was mainly, and then I used to work at like a froyo place, and I put that at the bottom, but that didn't really have much to do with it, right? So yeah, I also didn't really need to put that. Yeah, it all counts, but it's just like really try to think like all your experience, all your hobbies, the things that you love doing. I feel like you can definitely tie that in and put that into your resume. So like, don't feel afraid to like be like, oh, I've never had experience before. I've never had like a corporate experience or like, working with this or like that. No. You can definitely put something in there if you're very passionate about your hobbies. Like there's always some way to tie it into a job that you're looking for if it's in the same industry and relations, right? Because I think for me personally, when I applied, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna get this job. Honestly, I don't think I'm gonna get it because I feel like my experience is like so little, and it's just like, teehee, I just wrote down I streamed on Twitch. But hey, look at where I'm at now. Yeah,
that
look
was
at where I'm
actually
at
the
now.
gold star for sure. It was like, hey, you already know it's like half of people don't realize that like half of being your own boss is like being a streamer, because you make your own schedule, you plan out what you're gonna do, you have a community, you tell them what's going on. You're basically like your own reporter, your own social media manager. Like there's a lot that goes into streaming. So when people are like, I just stream, I'm like, no, you don't. You do so much more than that.
Agree. There's like so much work that's put into it. So, and also like, same thing for like advice and like encouragement. I feel like if you're in school, don't stress if you're taking a long time to finish, because I think that's something that I really felt stressful about. It was like, it took me years to get my degree, because like I end up getting my degree, I think like, let's see, 4 years ago. Yeah, it was 4 years ago. I think 2021 is when I got my degree. And I'm 30 now, by the way. So I am 30 years old. I got my degree at like when I was 26, I believe. So it was like definitely a lot later than usual, or like I guess than the norms, right? But don't feel discouraged and don't feel bad, because we all have like our journey and we all have like our different chapters of lives, right? And I feel like what you should focus on is definitely what makes you happy, as well as what you can do. Because like if you're gonna finish it, then you're fine. Even if you don't finish it, that's also fine. Sometimes you really don't need a degree. Like I have a lot of friends who are working at big companies without a degree, and it's just more about experience. If you're putting your time to good use and you're using that time that you would have had in school for actual experience, then that can be worthwhile as well, right? It's just like we all have different chapters in lives. I say, go with what you feel like fits you the best and what makes you the most happy.
There's plenty of ways to live life. Not one way is fit for everyone. Positive, what do you think there's some positive changes happening in the gaming industry from a social media perspective as well? Like you have a different outlook than, let's say just a casual gamer or a casual content creator. What do you think there's some things that are changing in favor for everybody?
In favor for everybody, I think like because like there's been a lot of people who's been stepping up and like supporting a lot of us, it's been a lot really nicer to see. Because unlike back then, like back in like COD days, right? If some guy were to like, be misogynistic towards you, like no one will really step up and say anything. They'll just laugh or like, follow the flock, or the pack, right?
Yeah.
And they just basically become toxic towards you. I think now in this day, you definitely see a lot more people stepping up and like telling them, hey, that's not right, you shouldn't say that, right? And it's really nicer to see here, especially in like when you're gaming or streaming, where people are starting to understand that that's not the correct behavior, that's like not the right behavior, right? You should not be saying those type of things. You shouldn't be misogynist, you shouldn't be just toxic in general. Like it's definitely not right. So I think that's definitely one of the changes that I've definitely been seeing in the gaming industry, where people are speaking up a lot more about experiences, as well as like everything they've been going through.
Future goals, what can we expect from you? I know you mentioned a little bit about your content creating era coming. This is your era, you're going ham on it, but what else can we expect from you?
Man, there's been a lot this year. So I think the main goal is definitely content creation, like being consistent in my content creation for sure. And also I know I'll be at Offkai Expo, which is a VTuber convention. So this is gonna be very exciting because we're gonna have a booth there. So we're gonna have a booth at Offkai Expo, and we got to show everyone the ropes about how you guys can use like Stream Deck and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a work related event, but also like my favorite event to go to. And then I'm currently in BoxBox Bootcamp, which is like a TFT race to the top finish. And it's like a TFT bootcamp that happens every new set that's hosted by BoxBox. So it's really fun. That's something I'm currently competing in at the moment. I'm in the casual division. I'm currently number 2 right now on the list. Ooh. Or maybe, am I? Oh wait, I was number 2. I'm number 3 right now. I'm number 3 right now.
Oh no, we gotta get back into work.
Oh my gosh, this is the list right here. Let's see what else. I might do another model debut, so maybe like a 2.5 model debut here. More charity streams. So I know because the new year has started, I'll be doing another charity stream for Gamers Outreach sometime this year. I recently finished was it I think top I think it was like sixth place in top six for Irium. They had the event for Afka Expo, so you'll see me on a little poster, but a bunch of other founding streamers as well that we passed out and handed to all the attendees. So it's gonna be like a nice little flyer. So super excited for that. But besides that, I can't really think of anything else at the moment. Not from the top of my head.
You're like, and that's it. But you just listed like 10 different things. So, oh my gosh, I can only imagine what your brain like is thinking while you're saying all these things. Mine would be like running like a little hamster, and the hamster's like sprinting all fast because I'm like, oh yeah, this is. But for you, it's so normal and it's so crazy to me because I feel like polar opposites. I'm like, I have to take one project at a time. I have to take it slow, but it's so wonderful to see everything that you're achieving, and I'm so excited to support you in it as well. So please let us know, how can we support you? Do we need to like, comment, subscribe? What do we need to do?
Oh, thank you. No, yeah. The like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, go like my YouTube videos. Actually, I just reached 10K followers on Twitch, so that's a huge goal. And then I also reached 25K followers on TikTok. And then I reached like 2K subscribers on YouTube. So this year is my YouTube journey. So I'm hoping to end the year with like maybe 5K followers on YouTube. So we're gonna see, because I've been really on that content grind. I feel like just like interacting my content really helps a lot.
Thank you so much, Jasmine, for chatting with me and giving me some of your very, very precious time. You're extremely busy, but I am so honored that we got to talk about your journey and talk about VTubing, because I had no idea about it. So the fact that now I know a couple of things makes me feel quite accomplished, and I hope you enjoyed the podcast with me.
Let's go! No, I did. Thank you so much for having me on and inviting me to be on the podcast. I had a great time kind of just yapping about. Like, I could talk about VTubing all day, honestly. I love VTubing so much. So, like, when I get started, I get started. But also, I do want to do a little quick shout out to, like, for those who are not in the industry per se, I do want to shout out to, like, my best friend, Blinking Blanc. She's the one that made this model come to life. This is her very first model she ever made, too. So, it's really crazy. Yeah, she is so talented.
Yes.
She is very talented. And like this like another model she made me as well. I believe it's this one here. I'm gonna bring it up real quick. This is also my like area model here. So this is like the other model she made.
It's
so super
amazing.
cute. Yeah, she's gonna give me toggles for this one. So I'm very excited for this one. This is really nice. So she's the one that also made this one. This is like her third model that she's made. So it's amazing. And then shout out to like Lai. She's one of my other best friends, and she's the one that's been supporting me as well through like my career. Like I love hanging out with them. Shout out to all my best friends, Jane, Danny, Gemma, freaking Brito, Andrew, shout out to my team, Brandon, Marielle, Lexi, Sean. It's just like, Phil, Chris, oh my gosh. Yeah, just like so many people, there's just so many people I really appreciate, and like my family too for supporting me as well. Like the list would go on, but yeah, it's just, oh my gosh, I just love everyone around me so much. Like they're all freaking amazing. But yeah, thank you so much again for having me on your podcast. Like it was a great time. I had a great time here.
Yay. Yay, I'm so glad, and I'm sure your family loves and appreciates you. So I hope you guys at home were able to learn a thing or two. As always, you can leave a comment down below, and I or Jasmine will address them. And I hope that you got some strats for your next moment in your path. So have a good night. Bye.
Bye-bye.